Hey guys, we just came out of an advanced screening for Avatar Fire and Ash at IMAX. This movie's been heavily anticipated and we've got 1,001 thoughts. But we thought we'd just want to discuss about our best and worst parts of the movie. So Pete, what'd you love?
All right, it's no secret, like all these Avatar movies, their biggest appeal and their draw, and it's a bit of a cliche answer really, but it's the visuals. Like Fire and Ash has somehow pushed the limits of CGI even further. The Way of Water was gorgeous.
Yeah.
This movie now has somehow stepped up, which
really
like you
has.
don't think it's possible, but when you watch this movie, and I was watching it with like a really keen eye, every bubble, every speck of dust, every bit of foliage is accounted for. Like the backgrounds are never static; they're always dynamic. You know,
Yeah.
I think if you go back and watch another movie with CGI, there's a stark difference.
Yeah.
Like Pandora feels like a living, breathing planet. You have to actually constantly remind yourself when you're watching this movie that this is in fact all CGI from like bottom to top. And that alone, like it justifies the runtime, because even if the story isn't, as interesting as it should be in some parts, visually it's eye candy. So that you have that going for it. And it's like worth the price of admission, because I come out of this movie going, that was a spectacle. Like no matter how I feel about the story or, if like its shortcomings,
Yeah.
what I've seen on screen has blown me away for the third time now. So that in itself is such a feat. All right, Liam, tell me, what is the best part of Avatar Fire and Ash for you?
The new villain, Varang, of the
Oh,
Mang
yeah.
Kwan clan. I was like, this, obviously you see in the trailer, and you're like, okay, cool, it's going to be the new big bad. But as soon as they throw it into the movie with that initial action sequence, you see her and you understand how crazy she is, her motives. She's just this person that just wants to see everything burn.
And so fascinating.
Very.
So wicked.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just through her actions. She doesn't really have too many lines in this movie, but I loved that about her. I thought it was great. I was like, cool. You see this person who's just vindictive, hateful, and the tribe around her really carries that on for her as
Yeah.
well. And I was like, they're so savage, and the symbolism they use with her and things like that. But once the dust settles, and this is kind of like a positive with a negative, I was like, you've got such an intriguing character, but where's her backstory? You touch base on it a little bit, but for a movie that's 3.5 hours long, you could have delved so much deeper into it and made her so much more interesting than Colonel or Captain Quaritch, whatever his name is. You could have made him so much more interesting.
She
And
actually
could have
was
been-
more interesting.
She was,
Yeah.
but she could have been like, okay, cool. Now you take the back seat. Now I'm the
Yes.
driver.
Yeah. Well, firstly, do you know who actually plays her?
No, I just know she's a Spanish actress.
It's Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter.
No way.
Yeah, which I didn't even
Wow.
know she existed or she was a person. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that is super
Yeah,
interesting.
Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter plays her, and she's fantastic in
Kills
this role.
it.
A really good villain. And you've kind of helped me segue into like my worst part of Avatar Fire and Ash. Unfortunately, it's the location. Like this movie has chosen to once again take place mainly in the Water Tribe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that decision was made. I mean, the promise was Fire and Ash, a really interesting villain, a really interesting tribe with like an incredible backstory. And not only do we spend most of this movie in the Water Tribe with the Water Clan, we also spend the climax and the ending is
Yeah.
set once again like a battle on the sea in the same ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into exactly what happens, but it is way too similar to Way of Water. They're like it feels like a Way of Water remaster in some parts.
You can tell these movies were filmed back to back.
Yeah,
and
and
you shouldn't.
obviously they're using the same assets. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some financial reason for that, but I mean, like in the wise words of IGN, like too much water. Like it really is a problem with this movie, because the appeal is to explore different parts of this awesome planet, and to just like bypass or like to miss the opportunity to
Yeah.
spend time, in the volcano, like their volcanic homeland, this tribe. I would have loved to have spent way more time than they just touch base on it, instead of actually spending majority of the movie exploring that, or a desert, or something, but just not water again. And that is a huge part of the problem for this movie.
Yes. Don't advertise it as Fire and Ash if it's
Yeah.
not going to be that.
It's very much a Way of Water part 2.
And that's fine. If it's
Yeah.
that's great.
That's true. Yeah,
Then we
if you
know-
go in knowing that, then it's
Yeah.
okay.
Our expectations are different.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's a bit of mixed
What else didn't work for
love
you?
on this one. For me, it was honestly, I feel like the pacing for the movie in certain parts was throwing me off. I mean, for a 3.5 hour movie, and for being James Cameron. The first two were super well polished. I get obviously the first one was his love child for as long as possible. Then there was a 10-year gap between the first and the second. So there's a lot of time for him to think and iron out all the little plot lines and how he wants to delve deeper into certain elements and like thoughts. This one here, you introduce a new tribe and you just brush over it. And I was like, okay, hold on. You're missing a completely interesting and fascinating asset of this whole movie, and that's gone. But then there's certain parts where they travel from the water tribe back to Neytiri's tribe for a certain reason, and it just feels like that whole part didn't need to happen, and then they somehow come back to the water clan. And I was like, okay, what was the point of this if you didn't actually have it as an intentional and important part of the movie for you just to come back to the same area? It was just certain parts where it just jumped. There was a part where the water chief and his wife somehow come to the airbase camp. And they're talking about what's happening with the RDA. And I'm like, how did they come all the way here? And why did they need to come there just to have a discussion about what's going on? Yeah. It just threw me out. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it takes days for them to travel back and forth. It would be an easy way for this to happen. And they didn't explain how they got there or what happened. They're just there in that scene. And then the next, they're not. And I was like,
because I think the movie's doing too much.
It is. But for a 3.5 hour movie, though, Pete.
But that's right. Well, that's why I think you could actually cut some storylines
and
some loose ends and focus like solely on what we think was the most interesting, of course, is, I've forgotten her name. See, that's another problem with this movie as well, is the names and the locations are so difficult to like commit to memory. Yeah. And it's probably why there's not a lot of, like, it doesn't really stick in the pop culture avatar because it's always Jake Sully or Zoe Saldana or the son. Like, you can't refer to these characters by name. You refer to them by actor or like their like part in the movie.
Jake Sully is so memorable because of his name is just in English.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
and then Neytiri a little bit here and there because she's just like such a pronounced character in the series. But other than that, everyone else's names really are just in and out of your head.
Well, you know who's like, I mean, his name is so like it's so easy to remember, but it's because I don't know why this actor or like how he got this role, but Spider's acting once again has almost ruined this movie for me. Like, just to add one more worst thing for me is the Spider's actor. There's a part in this movie, no spoilers. The emotional stakes are very, very, very high.
Yeah.
And he's acting for so short. It took me out of the scene.
No way.
And everyone's bringing their A game. Sam Worthington's incredible. Zoe Saldana's amazing. And Spider, is it Jack Champion?
Jack Champion, yes. Yeah.
It's like Disney Channel level acting.
Nah, come on. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is. Nah. It is really... No, I don't know how that didn't take you out. I'm like, he just ruined this whole sequence for me.
No, that whole sequence I thought was fantastic.
No, what?
Nah. The second one, he was a bit annoying. He was that spoiled brat, little weird kid, kind of like that hippie who lives with like a
He's
tribe.
The same in this movie.
He is the same, but at this one here, I don't know, for some reason, he's that little bit more endearing. Like, you can kind of look over him and be like, okay, cool, he's just part of the family now.
I understand he's the character for the kids to relate to.
Yeah.
But I'm saying his acting sucks. His acting is so poor.
He's not that bad.
He does. I feel like he lowers the quality of this movie every time he has his scenes in it. Because everyone else is bringing their A game. And then it goes to him, the one human usually most of the time in this movie. And it's just so jarring for me.
Is it that, or is it the character that he's given to act in?
No, it's his delivery. I think he can do more than that. I don't think the dialogue was too bad that he's given. Some of it's a little bit cheesy, but that specific scene, which I don't want to ruin, it's not what he says. It's how he delivers it. It is shocking. It is so bad.
I don't know. I saw that scene completely differently. I was holding my breath for a few seconds there.
No, I was too. No. Yeah. Yes, so was I.
You just didn't like.
But his acting, did not let that scene hit its full potential.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, how can you be this distractingly terrible?
I think I'm just used
to
him
in a scene this important.
It is a pivotal scene, but I feel like I'm just so used to him that I've just kind of grown comfortable to see him. You see him for 7 hours over 2 different movies?
Yeah.
You got to get used to him after a while.
And he's in so much. He's in way more than he needs to be. I'm not really sure what the point of the character is. Maybe in future installments he'll become very important, but for now he's actually... I had to throw in one more.
Nah, see, but that comes back to plot pacing as well. It's just like there's certain storylines that don't need to be there that
totally
take up important space for the Fire and Ash people.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah.
But look, I mean, ultimately, just to recap, it is a really, really good movie. The love and care involved, that alone makes it a spectacle. That alone warrants a 3-hour runtime. It warrants the price of admission. All these things for me that make the movies fun, this movie hits all those marks.
Yes.
But it does actually fall short in things that the other two didn't.
Yeah, 100%. But it is still just a spectacle. It is a cinema movie only to be seen in cinemas. Obviously, yeah, you watch it on a TV, it's gonna be great. It is nowhere near.
Yeah, like,
as
does
good as
this
seeing it in
movie,
cinema.
like, if you watch this movie on your phone, I really think if I watch this on my phone, would I like the Avatar franchise as much as I do? I don't know. I don't think it
It's-
works unless it's
no.
IMAX. Like, it's only an IMAX movie. Period.
It's because it's so immersive. You need to experience it in a 50-foot screen.
And the 3D. The 3D is so good.
The three. I know. I hate 3D.
I know you do, yeah. But like in these movies,
But in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is actually great. The way that they have like the foreground, obviously the flying, this and that, everything felt really. They use the 3D well to storytell with the environment. All right, guys. So that was a fun little video that we wanted to do about the best and worst parts that we loved about this epic trilogy that they've just released. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.